Why do you not want the vaccine?
I ain't taking that. I ain't taking it. I don't like people trying to push a shot on me or something else because I'm this bull-headedest fella you ever seen.
Last fall, COVID put Wayland in the hospital for 7 days.
I was on everything they had. Steroids, full drip, plasma from people that had COVID, drugs that they give my president, Trump, and they finally burned it out of me.
What's the difference, though, between the vaccine and the drugs that you did take, like Regeneron?
Well, yeah, I would have took anything. It wouldn't have mattered what it was.
But why would you trust Regeneron and not the vaccine?
Am I going to have to tell her? I don't know. You know, well, the one thing is, they shafted my president. They would have had the vaccine, already had it, but they wouldn't give it to him because they knew damn good and well he'd be reelected. There wasn't nothing nobody could do. So they had to swindle around and skin around and keep it from him just as soon as the election was over. Here, we got it. You shafted me out of my president. I ain't taking your medicine. Not from, I'll take what they give him, but I'm not taking yours. That's what pissed me off, and I ain't taking it because I'm that bullheaded.
Oh, okay. I do find it, I genuinely find it fascinating, and I'm not being sarcastic here, that, Republicans tend to be far more vocal in their disdain for government control. They claim to be far more willing to question authority. And they claim to be in favor of small government, right? And so it's just fascinating to me that in this case, this man is honest, and I actually respect the fact that he's being open and honest about his reason, right? Even though I disagree with his reasoning here, that he is so in love with Donald Trump that he's convinced himself that Trump got shafted and is willing to put his own life on the line in order to take a principled stand against taking the vaccine, in his mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first of all,
what are you gonna do?
This looks like a skit. No Southern accent I've ever done is as over the top as the one he had. Okay, I was looking for the spittoon somewhere, right? I tell you what, they do around the most bullheaded guy you ever done seen. Well, I know that, yes, you've proved that amply. Okay, and it's like they remind me of the old guys in the Muppets, okay, except Southern and not hanging out in the post, like the guys on the balcony, like, what's going on with Kermit? I'm not gonna take anything that guy frog says. All right, so anyways, but I'm with Anna though. They're authentic at least, and I like that. They're better than greasy politicians, right? They're just wrong. Maybe we could work with that, but they're obviously not hiding anything. So give them silver lining on that one. And guys, look, he's not dumb. I mean, he is and he isn't, right? He's
convinced himself of a conspiracy like that.
Well, no, but look, so it's become, loving Trump has become such a part of his identity that he's making life and death decisions based off of how much he reveres the dear leader. Now, you can say that's dumb, but these cultural wars, no, I hear you. These cultural wars warp the culture, and they've separated us out. And conservatives have made a curious choice, but one they've frequently made throughout history, which is they're going to be in the anti-facts, anti-science camp. A bit of a disastrous camp to be in. But then this shows the hilarious hypocrisy of it. So he took all the other drugs, also made by the way, a lot of the same companies that did the vaccines. So it doesn't have to make sense because it isn't about facts or science. In fact, this thing's opposite. So if you come tell them about facts, they say, I don't want your stinking facts. Like I don't want your stinking vaccine, because by the way, the facts also hurt Donald Trump's feelings.
I do feel like Bill Barr was a plant. I feel like Mitch McConnell is a plant for the Democrats.
That was one of many rally goers that Jordan Uhl spoke to over the weekend. The rally that was held in the nation's capital was meant to be in support of the January 6th Capitol Hill rioters, who of course stormed the Capitol. Now, let's hear more from these individuals who seem to think that what happened on January 6th was some sort of government-led hoax.
I believe the government perpetrated the attack on the Capitol. Certainly the MAGA people showed up here and walked up there. The people wanted to support Trump because they know he won the election. They know the election was fraud. And I think that the majority of people breaking our beautiful Capitol and busting things, I think they were government people. They were somehow affiliated with Nancy Pelosi and her wicked cabal.
Okay, so the rally goers, and it was a small rally, didn't end up being a giant rally as the organizer had expected, are there in order to provide or fight for justice for the January 6th rioters. But if you think that it was a government hoax, why are you there? I don't really get how any of this makes any logical sense whatsoever. But it is fascinating how the bad behavior of Trump supporters, who Trump incited on that day, is now like the responsibility of the federal government. Like the federal government did this. This is a giant hoax. I don't really know what to say to this.
But look, the human ability to lie to ourselves is amazing. And it's mainly just to feel better emotionally. So remember, these guys originally thought it was Antifa. Remember, that was their first excuse. And then they arrested the guys and they were all MAGA, and so that was inconvenient. So then they turned it into they're patriots and they did the right thing. Then they turned into it was the wrong thing, but the deep state did it. And they tricked our poor friends into doing it as well.
Obviously.
Okay, and so that's why we think that the good MAGA people who were originally Antifa people but are kind of deep state people should all be released. But yet that makes sense to them. Because why? They want to feel good about being a conservative, being right wing, and the facts are getting in the way. They want to feel like they're more American, but they're against American democracy. So the facts are getting in the way. Yep. So if the facts are getting in the way, you just tell Jordan Ewell, you know what, it's government conspiracy and that's why it's us.
I mean, if you want to like twist and turn and bend yourself into some sort of pretzel, like do yoga. It's better for your mental health, right?
That's likely to be very persuasive with that gentleman.
Yeah, I doubt it, right? But let's go to one more video from Jordan Ewell's coverage, and we'll include a link to the full video in the description box if you're watching this up on YouTube. Take a look.
Would you say overall it's a hoax?
Well, my big thing is the injustice of this. Is here you have people who have been sitting in jail for 9 months for what, for most cases, would be misdemeanor trespass, without bail, without any recourse, nothing. Held in solitary confinement, which is inhumane, which is mental torture, and which is actually in the torture handbook. So these people are being tortured for 9 months for basically misdemeanor trespass, where you have people who are burning, looting, blinding police with lasers, and you have the current vice president who set up bail funds for them. They made sure that their charges were all dropped. Where you have this handful of people who, again, there was probably a couple dozen people who broke windows, pushed their way through doors, and other than those couple dozen people, everybody else just wandered unopposed into the building.